How do you source for guests? Do you actually read the book and then you like the material
Yeah.
and then you reach out?
So there's several different ways. One of them is my clients will tell me people they like. I put every single person they like into a list, and then I go through that list once a month. And then so like I have 7 podcasts booked because I didn't have an episode this week. So I got paranoid and I booked 7 guests coming up, and they're in all different places. So because like because I have a background in physics and astronomy, and I have a background in finance, and I have a background with evolutionary psychology, I can do podcasts on any subject. So I have a guy he's a huge streamer, League of Legends streamer on Twitch, but now he started an OnlyFans where he goes on with girls and they're naked and they're playing video games. And I'm like, this is so fascinating to me. And then last week, so I had a guy who's on OnlyFans, and then last week, what did I have? I had a guy he worked for the deputy prime minister of the UK, and he's a senior fellow at the Brookings Institute. And so the breadth of and depth of my interviews, they just come from everywhere. Some of them come from Rollo. A lot of them are people that already follow me, and I'll reach out to them if I'm interested. And then a lot of them, if they have a book or a podcast, they're usually going to say yes. If you're willing to promote their books. I'm trying to get Professor Ashley Mears from Boston University to come on. She wrote a book called Very Important People. The book was not...
I told you about this book.
The book was not super highly reviewed, but I thought it was a fantastic book as far as its description. I don't agree with her interpretation, but I do agree with her description. And so, I messaged her. She messaged me right back. But then there's guys like Scott Galloway and Gad Saad. Those guys are harder to get on because they only want a certain audience. These guys go on Joe Rogan. They don't, and so they'll look at me for like 2 seconds and be like, oh, I'm not really sure. It's funny because after the first year, a lot of those guys started saying yes. And it just becomes, over time, better and better and better. But I also don't pigeonhole myself. Like I did an episode on quantum mechanics, and then I have like one of the top Madden streamers in the world. I did an episode the other day on, I'm trying to get Jackson Galaxy to come on. He's one of the foremost experts in the world on cats. And I rescue cats. And then I also have, I'm trying to get Project Pat to come on, the rapper from 3 6 Mafia. I'm trying to get him to come on. So like, there's no like limit for me. Just like whereas Joe Rogan would be a lot of times it's comedian, Navy SEAL, comedian, Navy SEAL, biologist, conspiracy theorist, Navy SEAL. For me, it was just like, I feel the same way except I want physicists, scientists, and then like, occasionally I'll have a girl on OnlyFans
or a former teacher.
Yeah, former teachers, whatever. It'll just be a lot of different stuff. Real estate agent. I just don't really try to tie myself down to anything. The people I do try to stay away from though are the ones that I know are scamming people. You know what I'm saying? And there's a few of those. Like I've had people hit me up about some of them are legit, but like their crypto product, their Forex product. Can you promote my business that my OnlyFans management agency? I try to stay away from those unless they're like can really show me some receipts, which most of them cannot. But yeah, and then, you can't pay to be on my program either. There's some people who have offered me a lot of money to come on, but I'm like, nah, I would hate that rumor to get out there that you pay to come on my podcast. So it doesn't work like that. I just interview people that I find interesting, and I try to do. Sometimes I can't. Jordan Sky's coming on Monday, and she's done one interview ever. And I just don't have a lot to go off of. So I have a lot of generic questions for her. And then I have Rebecca Barrett coming on tomorrow, and she's a former feminist who's now like a tradcon conservative who talks about being a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, I'm so on that page with her.
It just like basically bashes girls on OF. And so
I'm not that one, but
yeah, there's no rhyme or reason to my guest list, honestly, at this point, other than people that are interesting to me.